Hi all. These are generally conversations between adults after the children have left the table. The language can be spicy and the subjects can get saucy. So if you're ready, this is the Southern Fork. Unscripted kitchen chats and also studio chats with some of the most interesting voices in the culinary South. I'm Stephanie Burt, a food and beverage writer based in Charleston, South Carolina, who travels with her fork to write for a variety of publications, from magazines you might have on your coffee table to the website you love to visit for your favorite recipes. And I'm inviting you to come behind the scenes with me to get to know the people who make this Southern culinary landscape so special. I'm always hungry for the next bite, thirsty for that next sip, and ready for the next conversation. Let's dig in. The Southern Fork is honored to be presented again this year by Townsend Automotive in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. For more than 48 years, the Townsend family of dealerships has been a locally owned company built on service and connection with its customers. And their experienced team can walk you through the car buying process side by side, from test drive to service oil changes and beyond. Townsend goes through a rigorous vetting process to make sure that every pre-owned vehicle adheres to quality standards. And right now, there's plenty on the lot to choose from in various makes and models. Visit townsendhonda.com for current inventory, or if you're in West Alabama, stop in. Townsend Automotive salutes local entrepreneurs, from restaurateurs to podcasters, and they welcome you to be part of a community that does the same. Fancy dining isn't all fluff. At Wild Common in Charleston, South Carolina, Orlando Pagán puts his culinary passion on the plate with every service. He left Puerto Rico after high school to attend Johnson & Wales in Miami, and following graduation spent 3 years at the Ritz-Carlton Coconut Grove. In San Francisco, he cooked in a handful of acclaimed restaurants before leading the kitchen of Michelin-starred The Village Pub as executive chef. In 2017, Pagán relocated to the Lowcountry of South Carolina to join Sean Brock at McCrady's Tavern, and in 2019, he helped open Wild Common, where he currently leads the culinary program as executive chef and was recently nominated for James Beard Best Chef South. In the midst of this illustrious career, he was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, but his careful management of the disease and focus on team and family keep him strong in the job. Welcome to the Southern Fork, Orlando.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I'm so happy to be here. Well, I was eating here last week. I basically spent the evening here at Wild Common. Felt like it was important. I hadn't had your food in a few years, and so we had a great evening. There was a lot of courses, a lot of wine, a lot of fun. It was just great. Do you like being back there and working and hosting the evenings?
I do. I enjoy that aspect of my job. I really like the style of service that we're doing, so it's very engaging with the guests. We do a lot of food running, including my cooks. It's something that when we first opened Wild Common, it was one of the aspects of service that we wanted to do. I feel, a lot of restaurants, you sit in the front, you sit in the dining room and you never get to talk to the chefs or the cooks, the people that are cooking your food. So I think it's very important to kind of bring that aspect of service.
Well, that segues so beautifully. It's like we planned it, but we didn't, Southern Fork listeners, because in a tasting menu restaurant, lots of times the lack of personality is an issue, and it feels very formal. It feels very cold. And one of the things that I've always noted about your food, but I especially noted, I mean, because you've been in the pocket here for a few years, this is, there's some fun. There's some personality. I mean, you had something that was like a chicken McNugget type thing, or it was like a fast food reference.
Oh, it was the caviar service.
Yes. Explain
yes.
that, yes.
So caviar service, this is something that, we wanted to have a caviar on the menu. My executive sous chef, Zach, he had this idea of kind of doing a play with McDonald's hash browns.
Hash browns, sorry. Yes.
And to me, that was a big red flag. I don't like fast foods, hate fast foods. And it took a lot of convincing. But we did a play on it. We did a duck fat, potatoes, and kind of like a replica of like a hash brown. And we elevate it a little bit. And it's kind of goes really well with what we do in the restaurant. A lot of times we take ordinary ingredients, ordinary kind of menu items, and then we just kind of play with it and make it really fun. So that's how this dish started.
How do you walk that line between playful and serious? I know that places like Alinea have kind of bridged that gap a lot for us, and we just can kind of follow with balloons and and crackling things and all kinds of sensory stuff. But there's something that's a little more subtle, a little more personal, and I think it connects back to that chefs leaving the kitchen to provide food running.
Absolutely. So we're not Alinea, obviously. But we try to keep it fun for the guests. We're not fancy enough that you don't feel uncomfortable. But we're not too casual either. So I feel like we're in the middle. And this opens a lot of doors for doing fun stuff. And I feel, we're very approachable. So the things that we do is things that people feel connected to, or in the past, like, for example, the hash brown, somehow we are connected to,
or the mini bowl of ramen.
Exactly. The mini bowl of ramen, the mini bowl of ramen is something that I complain because I'm like, man, I miss coming from San Francisco, I was like, I miss good ramen, and, I want to go out at 1 a.m. and get a really nice bowl of ramen. And again, Zach, Mike Sexu, which he runs service most of the time. And, I do the finger pointing, they do all the hard work and I take the credit, which sometimes I feel bad. But, and he's like, I'll make you a really good ramen. And he did. And I was like, dude, let's just put this as a snack. This is a great.
And it's very miniature. I mean, with the quail egg, but the bowl, everything is proportioned. And that's difficult to do. I had the opportunity to interview you a few times for other articles, most notably a big feature that I did for Bitter Southerner, and it was called Processing in Purgatory, and you brought me a loaf of bread today because you were making bread a lot during 2020. Through those multiple conversations, I've gotten to know you as a fun guy, and serious and cerebral, but you have a streak and a sense of humor. But you've always cooked this really elevated, fine dining food. How did you get attracted to this kind of thing? So this is a two-part question. So one, how'd you get attracted to this? And a lot of people said this kind of food is dead, especially in 2020, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So I want you to tell me first, what attracted you and why do you think it's alive and well?
What attracted me to it, it's a very interesting question. I don't have like a one straight answer. There's multiple things. When I first started working in the industry, my first restaurant was 1997, just after high school, and it was a fine dining. And at the beginning I was lost, and then I fell in love with it. It was this the vibe, and the beautiful plating, and the stress, not the stress per se, because nobody likes stress, but the fun, the fun stress, the adrenaline. And I always loved the place. I always loved when the chef plated every dish, and it would be just beautiful, and he would take his time. And to me, that was art. that was like, oh my God, that's really beautiful. I want to do that. He was really well known back in Puerto Rico. He was a good looking guy, and I remember all the girls would come in and they're like, oh my God, chef. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I want to be like him, And then I moved to Miami in 99, and I started working in a fine dining restaurant. And it just clicked, like I love every single type of food, but I feel like just a little extra touch, just make it a little more personal. When I moved to Miami, my English was not as good as it is right now. I mean, it's not perfect. I'm still like have issues.
It's pretty good.
With it.
I've interviewed you a lot, so yeah.
But,
better than my Spanish. Let's just leave it at that.
Okay, good. For me, it was, I don't know, it was like, it's kind of weird, but it was my way to communicate. Like, it was how I was expressing myself, you know, like I feel like I like to have fun and things like that, but I feel sometimes I'm complicated on the inside, and I feel sometimes my dishes are the same way on a good way. Like, I just want to put more. I always want to do more. I feel like, I can do a dish and I'm like, I can make it prettier, or I can make it, look sexier.
And then how does it feel coming out of that time when you were baking bread and really hearing people saying the tasting menu is dead and people aren't going to go back to this? I mean, I read that article. I know you did too.
Yes, I did.
There was more than one. So what do you think now about this kind of food? Because I like to ask you these cerebral questions because you're a thoughtful chef. So I like for you to talk theory with me.
Well, when we all first read those articles, especially me, it was scary. To be honest, it was nerve-wracking because I've done fine dining my entire career. This will be 25 years in the industry, so I'm not getting
good
younger,
skincare.
So.
Orlando, really good skincare.
I know. I got some gray hairs in my beard. That kind of like that's all I've done is fine dining. So it was scary for me because that's all I know how to do. And a lot of people will say, well, you can make it simple, but I feel when your brain is wired a certain way, it's really hard to kind of do it a different way. So to me, it was nerve-wracking. I was nervous. I was like, okay, so here we go. We have a tasting menu restaurant. Let's see what's going to happen. And I mean, we were all surprised by how well we were doing. We had so much support from people, from locals, even people visiting from other parts of the state. And we actually started doing better than we ever did. And one of the things that's very interesting that a lot of people will comment and say is, what I love about Tasting Menu, you do the pick for me. I don't have to think about it. Coming after the quarantine, every single decision, I'm cooking dinner every single night. I'm cooking breakfast, lunch. Now I can go out and not think about it. Just sit there and food will come in.
Right, and experience it.
Exactly.
Well, and also, I can't make this at home. I'm not you. And I also don't have a staff of 6, in the kitchen with me at all times. Even if I did, I wouldn't have the patience to do this. This is not the kind of cook I am. And I'm definitely not classically trained. So I think all of us who did the sourdough, we figured out how to make French onion soup. We want the decadence of a restaurant sometimes. But I love to write about tasting menus, and I like to experience them, and I like to experience food trucks too. I mean, I like the whole wide depth and breadth of the culinary experience. But I know that a lot of Southern Fork listeners say the following: is it one of those places? Wait a minute, I got to do a voice. No, I'm not going to do a voice for you. Sorry. But a lot of people do think this if they don't say it out loud. Is it one of those places that you eat 9 courses of foam and you still have to go through a drive-thru on the way home?
Yeah.
Have you heard that a little bit?
Yeah, we've been to those places. I mean, I've been to a lot of places like that, I spend, you spend a lot of money, and the other food was beautiful, but then you go home and you're like, crap, I'm gonna have hungry, to eat some. I'll get some pizza or something like that. One of the things when we create the menu, we want to make sure the portions are not too big, but not too small. One of the things that I always think when I'm doing a tasting menu, I want to make sure that the guests that is coming here, they're having a great meal, right? Number one, I want to make sure that when they leave the stores, they feel that they're full, but they're happy. We all been to places that we overeat, and then we feel like garbage. So I believe that when you leave the restaurant, your body, your soul should feel happy and healthy. I believe the next day when you wake up, that you should feel happy, not like bloated or like, oh, what the fuck did I did yesterday? I ate too much, or now I feel like crap. I don't like that feeling personally, and I feel that as my guest, you're in my house. And me and everybody working here at the restaurant, this is our house. We want to make sure that you are not just feeding, that you're just like taking care of your body and eating healthier.
So that duck fat, we're just going to ignore the duck fat potatoes.
Let's just skip that one. Well, you can.
You got to have some
once
balance.
in a while, yes.
I mean, you got to have a little bit. It's caviar, by the way. When it comes to health, that's something that's been on your mind a lot, and you do a really, really physical job. And is it okay that we talk about MS a little bit? So how do you balance MS and the challenges of living with that disease with the challenges of living with this kind of profession?
So it's something that I think about it a lot. I got diagnosed with MS 12 years ago. It was on my birthday, which
Not
is awesome.
A good time.
May 8th, just in case you want to send some presents. And I got diagnosed, and, it was very challenging at the beginning, the first few years. It was because I didn't understand what was happening. I had no idea how I was going to approach his illness, how, I was going to continue to go forward. And it is something that it took me a while, but I'm very open about it because I know there's a lot of young people, younger chefs or cooks or whatever it might be, that they're getting diagnosed. Every day people get diagnosed, and it is very lonely, and that's how I felt. I went through everything from depression to confused anger, all that stuff. So I changed my diet about 8 years ago. I don't eat gluten. I don't eat dairy, which, makes it very interesting because, personally, having a tasting menu here, it's very hard to accommodate people with gluten-free and dairy allergies. For all the chefs listening, don't worry. When I go to a restaurant, I don't say I'm gluten-free, dairy-free. I'm just like, I just move it to the side. So, and I feel bad sometimes to go to people's restaurant that they know, because I don't want them to kind of make something special. Like, I just push it on the side. So, and, the thing, I learned how to manage my illness. They're all different. I struggle with it. I take it day by day. It might be days that I'm doing well, and it might be days that I'm not. The thing is, nobody sees it. I just feel it. I feel very tired. I get a lot of numbness, tingling. But I am very, very lucky. I have an amazing team. Like, my staff here, they're just incredible. They're very supportive. They understand, they see when I'm struggling, and they pick up the slack. It's like this nonverbal thing that we have. They just see it. My sous chefs, they send me home, which is funny. They're like, you don't look well. Just go home, get some rest, please. and then I, like, sure, okay. But yeah,
Yeah. Well, managing that, you also have to manage a family. And you have two kids, right?
Kids, yes.
A boy and a girl.
A boy and a girl.
And I am understanding that you cook on your day off.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
So some people do, some chefs do, and some chefs want to stay far away from cooking on their day off. And so when you're cooking, you mentioned growing up in Puerto Rico, Puerto Rican heritage. I know you do a guest special dinners here, the pop-ups in the summer, and I haven't been able to make it yet. How do you impart the Puerto Rican heritage in the kitchen so that your children can be connected to it as they grow up here?
I do cook on my days off. Sometimes I'm really tired, but I still do it. I enjoy cooking for my family. It's funny because when I'm cooking Puerto Rican food at home for them and my wife, I just love to mention what it is, in Spanish, and then I love to hear them say it back. It's very hard to describe the feeling, but it kind of fills me up. I feel that sometimes they might not be experiencing the culture as much because we're obviously in the States. I teach them a lot about it. I describe it, where they come from, because our cuisine is a mix of African food. There's African, Spanish, and Native Indian. So I kind of touch where this is from and, where the names come from and what's in there. And most of the time, my daughter, she will eat it. She eats everything. And my son is more picky. He was just like, look at me like, I just don't care what you're talking about right now.
So they keep you humble. They keep you grounded,
they do,
right? Because
yes,
you're
yes.
just like, I want to have this reading rainbow moment with you, but actually you don't care.
I know. Exactly. Yeah.
So what's your daughter's favorite Puerto Rican treat?
Tostones. Yeah, she liked tostones.
She has good taste.
Yeah, or arañitas, which is like spiders, is like grated plantain and then fries, nice and crunchy. So.
Sounds really,
and of course
really
the pork.
Yes, wow. Yeah. Okay, well, that's all I needed to be hungry. And I want to know, what is making you hungry now? What's percolating for you?
Okay. Like literally?
No, like creatively. What are you interested in right now?
I mentioned that I don't eat gluten. I've been working on a gluten-free pizza dough.
Okay.
That tastes good because every single gluten-free pizza dough tastes
We don't want cauliflower crust.
No.
It's not meant to
good.
be
No, it is just
on
not.
the pizza.
No, it's not.
I don't want you to fake anything like that.
I know, it sucks. And then, I go to a lot of, everywhere I go, I always ask, okay, gluten-free pizza, and I just feel so disappointed. And, so I've been working on
the opposite of what you should feel when you're eating pizza.
Yes. And I'm just trying to work on this. I want it to be like New York style. I want it to be able to fold and just be like really amazing. And it just drives me crazy because I'm trying so hard. I feel like I'm getting there. Almost every Monday I do pizza night in my house. So we do, with the kids, with pizza party. And I've just been trying to get this so bad because I really crave it. I haven't had.
Have you been going down the alternative flour route?
Yes.
Trying different ones?
Yeah, so I have, the one that I like the most right now is King Arthur. They came out with one, and it's working out, but I just need to get it.
It's got to be able to fold. Don't make it too crunchy.
Yes, I know. So that is...
and no cauliflower flavor.
No.
We don't need a Nebraska crust. Okay.
No, please don't.
Okay, what's one aspect of your natural personality that fits like a puzzle piece with being a chef? You've been a chef your professional career, so there's got to be something that keeps you coming back.
I feel like it changes. The older I get, it changes. I feel now, it might sound kind of weird or tacky or cheesy, but it's that parenthood. It's like that kind of leading my staff or nurturing them or just teaching them. I feel like I'm at an age in my life, I'm just only 43, but because of my illness and all this stuff, I feel like it's time for the next generation to start coming up. To me, it's just being with my staff. I'm naturally a caring person, and I've been lucky that my staff is like family. It's the family that I hire. They say friends are the family that you chose. It is the family that I hire.
Right.
And to me, that aspect, it's very strong right now. I love developing dishes with them. It's not, I feel like this point in my career, it's not, let's do this, and that. We actually sit down and we talk about dishes. I've been very open about it. In the past, as a younger chef, it's like, no, let's do what I said. This is my way. This is my name. This is this. And this is what we're going to do. And now it's more, what do you guys think? I'm more open to the feedback. And and it's been great. I feel it has changed everything. The way I see restaurants, the way I see kitchens nowadays, the stress level, it's very, very minimum, which...
You sound pretty relaxed.
It's a plus, yes. It's a plus.
It was relaxed in here the other day when I was in.
Relaxed,
it didn't feel like it was.
No,
it was frantic. There's
we don't
no
like
frantics.
that anymore. No, I miss it sometimes, but but I can live without it. So
yeah, I can too. What's one thing that's keeping you up at night right now?
Just one thing. There's so many.
I know, but I have to limit y'all.
Okay. The main one is. And it keeps me up a lot it's my illness, is one day waking up and not have the ability to provide for my family. That's something that it keeps me up. It happened 5 years ago when I moved here. I lost feeling on my left leg. Completely, I couldn't feel it at all. And that's very scary. Sometimes my vision gets really blurry. I know, I know of MS patients that lost their vision. But to me, it's just the ability not able to provide for my family, not able to do what I do because that's the only thing I know how to do, so that's. But
you're interacting with the illness instead of acting like it doesn't exist, which a lot of people do.
Yep.
So. Well, we're going to change gears here. You fed me multiple times through the years. Also, you're going to feed me the rest of this week with this. Hear this? This is a beautifully butcher wrap package of sourdough grits bread.
Grits
right?
bread, yes.
Yeah. So I would like to return the favor with a magic picnic basket. Now, this is a virtual picnic basket in which I can time travel. I can go back in time and conscript anybody to make anything that you would want just one more taste of. I can cook a little bit, nothing fancy. I'm very much a country cook, I think. And this just comes from my grandma. And I would definitely be able to source all of the super fancy ingredients that you require probably for this picnic basket. So I would love to bring you some of your favorite things. So I know it's going to change. It changes for those of us who love food almost on a daily basis. So what is it today? What can I bring you?
What is today? Can you time travel?
I can.
Awesome. So definitely my grandma's pernil. It's something that when I think about it, I can smell it right now.
And explain to Southern Fork listeners what that is.
Yeah, so it's pork again, because that's what we eat back home. It's pork breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So it's a pork butt or shoulder. She used to roast it very, very slowly, but then she will marinate it with garlic and onion and regao. Regao is culantro. Olive oil, and she will slowly bake this, and she will make arepas with it, and then she will make like beans and ham hocks. But that will be on my basket, and then
that might be in my basket moving forward too. Yeah.
And then just bring a nice pillow because it's gonna be
nap time.
Siesta after this. Nice siesta. Yeah.
Excellent. What else?
Definitely, we gotta bring some bacon, like nice crispy bacon. I know this is very unhealthy. So I know I talk about being very healthy, but this is
a dream basket.
This is a dream, right? This is a dream.
So crispy bacon, okay.
Crispy bacon. My friend Belinda Leon, she was a pastry chef at Gary Danko's. She would make this like white corn ice cream every year. Like she will make it for me, and this is best thing ever. It's so good. So I want some of the ice cream in there as well. So we gotta have some ice cream.
Sounds great.
Yes, I think we're good with that.
Okay.
I think we're.
That sounds great.
Yes.
I am going to eat all of that as well. So if people want to learn more about Orlando and Wild Common, you know where to go. Go to thesouthernfork.com. I'm going to have links there as well as images so you can see the face behind the voice and some beautiful plating. This is a gorgeous restaurant downtown Charleston on Spring Street. This building has been a part of my life in different iterations for the amount of time that I've been here, which is 15 years. It's been a few different things, but this is the most fun it's been. So thank you so much for being so patient with all my questions all these years and for feeding me so well.
No, thank you for having me. This was really fun.
Great.
Really fun for me. So.
Great. Hello and welcome to Talking with My Mouth Full. Orlando and I are both huge fans of the Great Chefs television series. And I don't know if you know about this television series. If you're not of a certain generation, you might have missed it. But it began in 1982. And I think it ended in the late 90s, maybe around 1998. And it was really a groundbreaking series. It broke the mold for televised cooking programs. It took cooking out of the television studio and into working restaurant kitchens of some of the world's greatest chefs. And there are many different series of this, like Great Chefs of the World, Great Chefs of the South. But for me, the most influential were Great Chefs in New Orleans. And if you are a fan of the Great Chef series, then you might notice some similarities to the theme music for the Southern Fork. It is a direct homage to Great Chefs in New Orleans, which had an amazing jazz soundtrack. Actually, all of the Great Chef series did, and I'm a huge jazz fan, so that's where my theme music comes from. And then also my direct influence on the way I read and write the intros is Mary Lou Conroy, who is a Louisiana narrator for all of these shows. So there are more maybe I think than 650 episodes out there. There are a lot of them on Vimeo and YouTube, and you can check them out. But I have heard everybody from Julia Turshen to Orlando mention what an influence they are or they were to our generation and to falling in love with cooking. This week, after I remembered that Orlando liked it too, I've revisited it. And if you just need some calm television, like if you've run through the British baking show or anything like that, and you just want some calm TV, I'm telling you, Great Chefs is where it's at. So anyway, just a tidbit. That is a little behind the scenes info on what really inspired kind of the style of the intro and the beginnings of this show. And I've got to go because I need to go watch some more Great Chefs. So thanks so much for listening, and I will talk with you next time.
You've been listening to The Southern Fork. I can't wait to bring you more culinary conversations, but in the meantime, I have one question. Are you going to eat all that?